So, all right, let's see, let's pull up our notes, because gotta be ready, need notes, we'll talk. Oh my goodness, if I can find them. I've hidden them away. It's the first. I should have recorded this earlier. Whoops. Okay. Totally not ready. All right. So, hi. It is November. It is the 1st, and welcome to the Kalendcast. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a Radiant Noir. I am the resident witch and creatrix over to Radia's Hand and Danae's Divine, where I create myth, magic, and meaning for your everyday life through art, intuition, and energy work. And on the 1st of the month, I like to do a little thing called the Kalendcast. So the Kalendcast, for those of you who are new, who have not seen one of these before, or it's been a while and you've forgotten, because I only do one a month. The Kalends is part of the Roman calendar. It is the 1st of the month, just like the Nones is the 9th, and the Ides is the 15th. So, because I'm a numerologist, because I see meaning, and like most people, place meaning on the beginning of things is a good time to start. It's a good energy to kind of tag along to. I like to do this little thing where I review, cover, what else is gone, and then of course do a little projection planning for the next month. And part of the whole point of this is, if you make a plan and you don't review it, you kind of wasted your time making the plan, right? Because how can you ascertain how well you executed the plan if you don't look it over, right? And further to that point, if you don't make a plan and you don't get anything done, how are you measuring what you got done, without like a reference point? And I mean, just like if you don't pay attention to any of your metrics at all, and you just kind of do stuff, usually what happens with that is then you look back and you really don't know what you did, because while you probably did something, what are you comparing it to? Because human memory is super faulty. So this serves as kind of an accountability for me, but also it helps me to notice, hey, what did I do? What did I not do? And then I can adjust the expectations, and hopefully this inspires you to be able to do the same and do better and learn what works for you. And, if you're excited and you're super into what I'm doing, you can follow me along. So, without further ado, okay. So we're going to review October really quick. And actually, before I get started, and I'm going to remind everybody at the end of this video too, if I remember to do it, I'm posting this video. My goal is to get this video up on the 1st of November. It is 11 o'clock. I've got a way to get the video over to my computer very quickly, but it is a matter of whether I would get it uploaded quickly enough. So my goal is to make sure that gets done. That being said, I'm probably going to be doing a shit ton of other videos, because I have some videos in my queue that I have not put up yet, but I wanted to make sure that this one got up on time, because those are already late, and so if they're later, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, pretty much. That's all of it. So, walnuts. Just got lost. Shit. It's really hard to read. You don't have your glasses on, and things start to blur, but I can't put my glasses on because then there's a glare off of them, and damn it. And it's like all the time too. It's weird. It's not weird, it's science. Science I don't like. Okay, so I'm gonna look back forth. It's fine. You don't really have to, these videos are for people if you want to watch a video. It's not really necessary. You could just listen to me prattle on. That's totally fine. The only good thing about watching me is that I'm animated and odd, and that it's sometimes amusing for people. And so if you need a laugh, here all week. So, we're gonna call October a trash fire. Yeah, pretty much nothing I wanted to get done got done. And that's because I had a lot of shifting and moving pieces, and I thought I was going to have some answers and some determinations and some clarity. Nope, not even close. I'm actually, just for vague reference, I'm going to try and sort that out in this coming week, and then I will be able to make good on having words if in fact that is what I end up doing. I still haven't, jury's kind of still out, because repercussions are a thing, and yeah. Once you put stuff out there, it's out there. Can't take it back. So I do try to show caution when it comes to like major things like that. So that being said, I did not get any planning done in October. So last year, I'm not sure when I did my planning. I feel like I did it before the end of the year, but I'm not super certain. It might have been in December. It might have taken me that long. And I think I decided that while, or maybe it was the year before that. Well, regardless, I decided, hey, you should do your planning like before the Pagan New Year, which is, or specifically is in reference to the Celtic Wheel of the Year, which is specifically talking about Samhain, or Samhain, Samhain. It really depends on where you are originating from, how you say it. Yeah, so that being said, I celebrate the astrological version, which isn't until the 7th of November, so I've got time, but I really did want to get it done before the fixed day, which people usually use the 31st for, which is incidentally also Halloween. And I totally spaced out on the fact that it was Halloween. So for me, the intention was the last full week in October I would be doing it. And that would give me a work week, 1 day per chapter, piece, section, the planning process. And that way I could just focus on that and be done. Because some of the parts of my planning are kind of involved. It involves a lot of looking back and reviewing and stuff like that, and thinking and answering basically questions that are somewhat essay-like in their answers. Some of them are very succinct, like, hey, how many followers did you have, or did you send out emails or whatever. And then other things are like, how did you want to feel? How do you feel? Stuff like that, where it's a little more out there, and the answer can be a lot more involved and like open-ended, which is perfectly fine. It's just a matter of that's going to take a little more brain power, and I have to take that into consideration. So as a result of the trash fire that was October, which I will get into some of it I won't. It's personal, and it's basically nobody's business. So, and it's also not something I want to rehash and relive, because it was very unpleasant and very triggering and just altogether awful, actually. Yay. So, that being said, at least I still have my sense of humor, sort of, maybe. I'm a little sardonic at all times, so at least I'm consistent, I guess. Anyway, so that didn't happen. Do a Maya Rudolph as the judge. Pretty much. That, in fact, I would say that sums up my October right there. That whole scene from The Good Place. So, like I said, October was really rough, and really that was pretty much the reason everything went awry. Now, that isn't to say that I did nothing and that I completely failed at everything, because that's not what happened. But it did throw like a major kink in my intentions to get things done. There were just things that didn't even get approached as being handled, because I was reeling from October. So I didn't get the rest of the quarter set up. Incidentally, I just finished today getting all of October set up. And when I say the quarter, so we're talking about quarters for those who don't know. The quarters are the fiscal quarters of the year, which is usually January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Because magic and myth and all that shebang figures so much not only into my art but also my other work. My quarters are actually based on the seasons. So that means that the fourth quarter for me actually goes from this year into next year, right? Because we start off with spring, then go to summer, then go to autumn, and then go to winter. And I find for me that's a more resonant system, because we plant things, right? And we plant things in the spring. We start to see them bloom in the summer. We start to harvest them in the autumn, and then we can, kind of wrap things up and reevaluate and recuperate and reflect in the winter. And that reflection is a good time for planning, right? Which you could argue that that's when I should do my planning, but winter doesn't start until like the end portion of December, and I don't want to wait that long, because if I need to evaluate anything, like, I can't. So yeah. And there's a degree of evaluation that comes with the harvest and comes with the fall season, because when you're bringing stuff in, you're really taking stock of what you've done. And it also is, if you had anything that you needed to adjust, you have time to adjust it, which is kind of why I do it this way. Because it's still, like, it's just became fall at the end portion of September, and it will not be winter until December, so we've got, like, some time. And I'm still playing around with exactly when I want to do my planning. I thought about moving it up to September and basically making it the last calendar week in September, because that's definitely going to be after after it's turned fall, because fall usually starts aroundish the 23rd. I think the 20th to the 23rd is how it runs. But yeah, I'm testing things out, which I hate doing. So I just want to get them right. Can I just get shit right, like, the first time, and not have to repeatedly. Oh, I totally forgot I have flamingo stuff over there. Shiny. Okay, so we're just gonna go off on that tangent for a moment, so this makes a little more sense. I have this weird obsession with flamingos. I don't really know why. Probably because they are just loud birds, color-wise, and very noticeable and very distinct looking, and it tickles me pink and purple. Well, I have it's not one of those Beanie Babies, but like the company that made the Beanie Babies tie, they also made a bunch of, the new thing is animals with giant ass eyes, and so they have a bunch of them, and they happen to have a flamingo, and I saw it during the summer, and I'm like, clearly I need to buy that flamingo. Clearly, because I'm weird. And I don't love all things flamingo, just like I don't love all things golden apple. I'm very specific in my taste. But in general, yes, I do like flamingos, because I'm a weirdo. Anyway, my small human saw my flamingo and decided that it was their flamingo. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's mommy's flamingo. And they were like, no, it's insert my name, flamingo. And I'm like, I don't think it's accurate. Apparently, though, I'm wrong. But over in the corner on top of my project cart, yes, I have enough projects that have a special cart designated. I actually have two carts designated. One's for painting, one's for fiber. And that's because carts have wheels and carts are cool, and yay for wheels. Anyway, oh my I have this kit to make a flamingo. It's actually a pair of flamingos. And I saw that while I was out, I think killing time, really. And I decided that I needed that, because of course I did. And because it will make 2 flamingos, I've decided I will make 1 flamingo for myself, and then I will allow my small human to have the other flamingo, which also means I can get my really good flamingo back. And because I made it, like if I have to repair it, I totally can do that really easily. So yeah. Yeah. But it's sitting there in eyesight, and it's like bright pink, so it's really difficult to miss, because flamingos. Anyway, let's see. So yeah, the quarters. And so I don't know. The whole exactly when I'm going to do the quarters, it's really up in the air, because clearly doing it in October this year did not work. I did do it in conjunction with a biz buddy of mine last year, though, and that's also part of why it got done. So just for sake, so I mentioned that at the beginning of this, that this is kind of a little bit of accountability, but the reality is accountability doesn't work for me. Me telling you that I'm going to do something, there's no consequences to that. Like if I don't do it, it just doesn't get done. Like I feel just as shitty if I don't do something and I tell people as if I don't do something and don't tell anybody. So it doesn't, the additional negative reinforcement doesn't do shit for me. And it's already like noted that negative reinforcement isn't really an effective way to motivate people. Some people do respond to it, but a lot of people don't. And I mean, it's basically fear mongering. Like, here, I'm gonna make you feel bad. I'm gonna put, you know, and that's gonna make you do things. And I'm like, a lot of times that's not how that works at all. It just makes, like, it paralyzes people, and then they can't function, move, or do anything about it. And we're gonna go ahead and say that is not in any way helpful. My glasses are already weird like this. Anyway, walnut. So, but if I say I'm going to do something for you, or like with you, right, I am more likely to follow through on that, because you're depending on me, and so the expectation is externalized. It's not for me that I'm doing something. It's not because I want to that I'm doing something. It's because I said I was going to do something for someone else, essentially, and I can't let other people down, because I can't. Like, it's against my religion, you know, as the kids say. So that, as a motivator, works a lot better, because I can't stand it when people cancel on me and flake it on me, so I definitely don't want to do that to somebody else. And I try to trick myself by doing that, and generally speaking that works, but it just so happened that that didn't work out this year. We didn't plan together because of whatever, and I need to, like, find somebody else to do this with, or get them to plan with me so we can keep tabs. Even if it's just, hey, look, I did this, and stuff, and check in, and whatever. Anyway, but, yeah, so that didn't get done. But October is done now, so the rest of the quarter would mean getting November set up, which, not done yet. Although I had got the first, like, week and a half done, because I was getting ready for yesterday's video, and I needed to do it. So there's that. Oh my god, I need to hurry up. These videos are always really long and weird and windy. Let's see. So, I also didn't get my planner supplies. So that's also, so if you know anything about planning, calendars and shit like that, a lot of that stuff comes around. It's actually, generally speaking, it starts to get pushed at like the beginning of October. Because you can totally wait till the end of the year to get your calendar or your planner or whatever. And that's completely fine. But the variety and options that you will have if you wait to the last minute are significantly decreased. And I very specifically am seeking to get a very specific setup. I get a very specific type of planner and type of inserts and whatnot. And so I'd rather not wait. And also, if I get them early, then I have time to set them up, which is ideal for me. I need to set them up, because waiting until the time to set them up, it does not work. I've experimented with that idea all this year. Fail! The worst. Shout out to Caitlin. Oh yeah. So, walnuts. Yeah. So that didn't happen. You see, we got a running theme for October of nope. I did manage to show up here about half the time. So, I want to say the beginning half of October, I showed up here pretty much on time. I had all my... Okay, I had most of my things planned out. And I had a lot of it ready ahead of time. And so all I do is show up, record, transfer, upload, and everything. And I did really good until about halfway through the month, which is right about when things started to just like go ablaze. Like this conflagration of damn it. And that's where I fell out. Which, by the way, again, reminder, there's going to be a bunch of uploads after this that are all late, and I'm going to try and remember to put back post on them. If you're seeing this on Patreon, they will definitely have that on it. If they're on YouTube, you know, I'm not like super sure that I've been doing that, but I'm going to try to remember, because I try not to have to back post anything, because it's better if I don't. It's better if I just do shit on time like I'm supposed to. Ooh. Novel idea. So, and pretty much I wasn't able to keep up with anything else, unfortunately. So, writing a newsletter, listing things, promoting anything else, yeah, pretty much didn't happen. But again, I know exactly why. So, my next little segment is I like to cover what else happened. And I like to cover what else happened because a lot of times we focus on what we didn't do, we focus on what we failed to do, we focus on the shoulda, woulda, coulda, and miss what actually did happen. And one of the things I know about myself personally is that I guarantee you I probably did more than I realized I did. And I'm not giving myself credit for whatever I did. Because if it's not exactly what I wanted to do, then it was a failure. It is that lovely, wonderful, all or nothing thinking. Thank you, depression, anxiety. And it's also black and white thinking is very, or all or nothing thinking is very similar to black and white thinking, which is very polarized thinking. Either things are great or they're awful. They're not precisely the same. Because of the exact ways they manifest, but they're very, very, very similar. And that's a borderline trait, where everything is either great or everything is, it's catastrophic and it's the end of the world. And by the way, these are not choices. These are issues that relate to these kind of disorders that are very reflexive, and they're very much part of your makeup, and to work through them is a lot of work, and they're still always going to be part of how you function. And it's just really learning to stop them before they get carried away. And yeah, so yeah, if you know somebody who deals with these things, don't shame them. Don't be that asshole. Don't do it. Because I guarantee you, more than likely, they don't want to think like that. It is just how they think, and it takes a tremendous amount of energy and willpower and brain power to just like keep on top of everything. And chances are they have other things that they're dealing with, that being that vigilant is exhausting. So yeah, and if you're like me and you have to deal with these things, cut yourself some slack, please. It does not actually help you to place more stress on yourself by holding yourself to this standard that is quite honestly unrealistic. So yeah. which doesn't mean we shouldn't try to do better. We should always try to do better, but you need to take into consideration like where you are, like what is going on, and be, you know, kind to yourself, because it's really easy in a capitalist society and structure to focus on productivity and always doing right and always doing best, and moralizing our productivity. Like, if you do things and you get things done, you're good, and if you don't, you're bad. Don't do that. It's a jerk thing to do. You shouldn't do it to other people, and you certainly shouldn't do it to yourself. So, yeah, I did mention that mental health advocacy was going to be creeping into my work a lot more, because as somebody who's mentally ill, it's important to me, which is really funny, because I finally found something I actually give a shit about enough to talk about. Zippity doo! Yay! Yeah, I sound like a weirdo. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, one day I'll have to key y'all into the inside joke that is, but not right now. Yeah. So in this particular month, I'm gonna go ahead and say nothing else happened. I didn't do anything else. I did a lot of sleeping, because that's what happens when you're depressed. A lot of times you are incredibly fatigued. I did a shit ton of worrying and stressing out and other things that are just mentally and emotionally exhausting. So that added to the fatigue, the physical fatigue. Yay! I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because if I don't, I'm gonna cry or rage. It's more likely one of those two. But the reality is I was drained. And what I will say is I'm going to pat myself on the back for not trying to push through a really difficult time and just make myself do stuff anyway, because I have found that historically that does not work out for me. And what it does do is, if I am able to push through a little bit, it means that when I do finally crash, I crash a lot harder, because I have no reserves at all, period. So there's something to be said for like not dipping into your reserves. Have a little something. Have your emergency, like whatever. So if you start to get to the point where you see the plane nosediving, like stop. You know, don't. It might be just time to just jump out of the damn plane, honestly. You know. So yeah. And now on to November. Hello, November. So, I'm going to go ahead and try another round of planning. At this point, I've got part of today set up in my planner, not all of it. And, after that, I've got, the rest of the month to set up. And, we're getting there. We're little tiny snippets of productivity. But the good thing is I've started, so there's that. And then after that, I'm going to get winter set up. So the goal with that whole quarter thing is I want the quarter that I'm in, the season that I'm in, will be all set up in my planner, which will be 3 full months, give or take. And generally speaking, when I'm looking at the quarter, I'm going by the seasons in which the start of the quarter is the month that the season starts, but none of the seasons start like at the very beginning of the month. In fact, a lot of the cross quarter days are at the beginning of the month, but most of the actual seasonal changes are right about in the middle. And middle is, you know, not like the 15th, but like in the 20s, generally speaking, because it's when, is it? Hold on, wait. I think it's when all the cardinal signs switch, is what it is. So it's Aries, yeah, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. So when all the cardinal signs come and to hang out with the sun is when the seasons change. Those are all like mid-ish month ish, right? Like again, 20s or so, wiggle hands. So that means that the fall is September, October, November. And the next quarter is going to be December, which means I'm going to set up December, January, and February next year up through there. And that way, when I start December, I can set up spring, right? And that's my goal. That way I get, damn it. I just lost a thought. If you saw any of my videos in October, you know that shit happens a lot. And now that I'm like paying attention to it, it's happening like a lot more than I realized. And it is awful. Yeah, it's awful. Gosh. Memories. Remembering shit I don't want to remember. Yay. So, there's that. I also want to finally get around to getting my planning supplies. Which, I have some news. I actually bought them today. So, that's done. Yes! Check that off. I was not happy about having to do it because I'm really extensive in my planning. I'll have to do a video where I like just explain all the stuff. That might be like, I think that I'll do that as one of my potluck posts this November because I'm doing my planning late. I'll go through all the different parts of my planner, like what I use for what and how I set things up and all this other stuff. And you'll get to see some of it set up and maybe get some ideas if you need help or aren't sure or you want to try something different. Maybe. And don't forget my Bujo post, which is at some point going to go up, you know, whenever I'm freaking ready. Hopefully soon. Like, hopefully right after this video I can get it recorded. But I don't know. We're not going to hold our breath for stuff. Anywho. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, we're not too far past 30 minutes. Yes. So, I would love to hear from you. How was your October? And what are you planning and looking forward to this November? And you can drop a comment below. And I'd like to read all of them and try to, like or comment and, whatever's relevant. So, the usual stuff. If you liked this video and you know somebody else who will, share my Patreon with them. You can find all the links below to both my websites, Radius Hand, Danae's Divine, all of my relevant social media that I'm active on, and all that jazz. Now, one little thing I did want to touch on. One, first, to be back posting a whole bunch of stuff. So, no, you're not imagining things. Yes, that all happened. Yes, all these videos have the same date or have dates that are really close together. Yes, I'm aware. Watch what you want, whatever, ignore the rest. Now, the second thing is, all through October, I ran this little experiment, or I was intending to run this little experiment, where all the videos would be public that were on my Patreon, and I would see how that worked out for Patreon and see how that worked out for my YouTube channel, because that's where everything is hosted. And while everything that I posted did in fact was public, I did not do a very good job executing that goal. Like, I posted stuff but didn't get around to sharing it, so I can't say that many people saw it, because if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, there's no reason that you would have seen it, right? And then because if you don't know that I have a Patreon, or you don't know what the link is or whatever, or you don't know that I have a YouTube channel, then there's like absolutely no reason that you would have visited and watched any of the videos, right? Because you don't know exist. So I've decided at this last possible minute, that what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this experiment at least through November with the express intention of doing all the promoting of all the videos. So a lot of my promotions, when it comes to everything else, they're cyclical. Like every so often I remind people. When it comes to my Patreon, the Patreon itself is not in that cycle of things that I remind people about. And when it comes to videos, I post about it. I post the video, post about it that day, and then I don't say another word about it. And part of that is because I put videos up so incredibly often that to post about this video that I did like 2 months ago on top of all of the other posts, it feels excessive to me. Because I'm not posting at all about I haven't been, but it's part of my system and plans to post extensively about each video when it goes out, so people have the chance to see it and watch it and engage with it and whatever, share it. And then I'm going to work the main Patreon into my regular promotions, including the tags, and have them searchable for all the main ones, and then some other things like that. So things, yeah. That being said, for all of you who are patrons, for all of you who are subscribed to my YouTube channel, I do thank you very much for following my work, being a part of my world, engaging, even if it just means that you watch the video. I appreciate you, and it means a lot to me that you're here and that you are showing your support in whatever way you are. And yeah, so I'm gonna scoot off of here so I can get this video up and go back to work and maybe get some sleep. Sleep? What is that? I don't know. I've been doing a lot of it, honestly. Yay! So, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is, let's see, studio share. I didn't do my studio share last month because I didn't get my studio cleaned. I'm hoping that I can do that. I'm hoping I can manage that, because there's like a bunch of stuff at a bunch of places, and I don't like where things are, how they're set up. But I also have always have projects out that I'm working on, and if I put them away I just won't get to them, and so that's why I leave certain things out. But then the EDD kicks in, and then I want to work on this other project, and this other project, and this other project, and somehow the 5 limit projects turns into 10 and then more. I'm gonna join a crochet along here because I'm clearly out of my noodle, and then I'm going to I'm gonna participate in a needle felt in Feltember, which is November, but a needle felting challenge, which I still have to do. I have no idea even how I'm gonna do that, because I feel like it's gonna take forever, because needle felting's not quick. Do you see me just piling stuff on my plate? Do you see this? Do you see things falling off of it? Because I do. And yet I'm still doing it. What? Eyes are bigger than my stomach. That's what my mother used to say. You know that you are a mother when you open your mouth and your mom comes out. We're going to end there, because that's a funny saying. Thanks. See you tomorrow.